Now, you may remember the woman who was so excited after the election of President Obama. She was, in fact, so excited that she would no longer have to worry about buying gas and paying her mortgage and all those little irritations that real people have to do every day. Anyway, I want to go back to this video, this moment. You have to remember it. Here it is.
It was the most memorable time of my life. It was a touching moment because I never thought this day would ever happen. I won't have to worry about putting gas in my car. I won't have to worry about paying my mortgage. You know, if I help him, he's going to help me.
Well, her name is Peggy Joseph, and she is singing quite a different tune these days. And that was the subject of Rusty Humphries' latest Washington Times commentary. And he joins me here today. Rusty, always a pleasure to have you, my friend. Welcome back to Smart Life.
Thank you very much, Dr. Gina. Isn't that an amazing story? I mean, this is a woman who looked like a brain-dead zombie. Obama's going to pay for my gas. He's going to pay for my mortgage. All I got to do is support him. Well, there's a brand new documentary that's about to come out by a friend of mine named Joel Gilbert. And the movie is called There's No Place Like Utopia. And he found Peggy Joseph. And guess what? She's woken up. She's realized that the emperor has no clothes, and now she's very much anti-Obama.
Well, she's not alone in that. According to the Business Insider, his support has gone from 68% approval to 38 to 58 to 39, and it just keeps going down. It doesn't matter what you're looking at, what position you're looking at him from. It doesn't matter who you're interviewing. Across the board, Obama and this administration are losing major support. What bearing will that have on the next election, though, in real terms? Because voters, as you know, Rusty, tend to be fickle. We tend to have short memories.
Well, this was very predictable from the very beginning, and I predicted this before he even got elected. Because if you go back to the speeches of 2008, Dr. Gina, he didn't say anything. It was all hope and change and puppies and rainbows and unicorns. And so what he was successfully able to do was allow people to project onto him what they thought he was going to be. She thought he was going to pay for her rent, her mortgage, and her gas. Somebody else thought that he was going to give him free health care. Somebody else thought he was going to save the world or whatever. So he was able to allow people to project onto him. And I also predicted that he would be one of the least popular presidents when he leaves because it was impossible for him to fulfill those promises.
But, you know, Rusty, some of the things that Americans are asking this president to do aren't so crazy. I was actually watching The View this morning, and I saw that this was an old clip, but I saw that that they were talking about the illegal mothers and children, and nobody wants children to be, you know, hurt. We understand the humanitarian aspect of this, but one lady on there was from Chicago, and she called up the humanitarian aspect of the fact that there were lots of people killed last month in Chicago. There's lots of crime happening in Chicago. There's lots of homelessness, joblessness, all kinds of things are happening. You look at that. You look at our veterans who are suffering extensively. You look at our Marine being held in Mexico, Andrew Tamarisi. I interviewed his mother just again this morning, and I'll be writing another heart-wrenching story about her this afternoon for WND. And a lot of people are saying, hello, there's a humanitarian crisis in the United States. What do you say to that, Rusty?
Well, again, Obama is good about talking in big platitudes, but not very good at getting the job done. A lot of this, as we all know, is political. It's to get as many free Democrat votes in while he still can. Dick Cheney said that under his lifetime, Barack Obama is the worst president he's ever seen. I agree with him. What Barack Obama is doing with allowing these illegal immigrants, these dreamers to come in, is it's bankrupting. And guess what? You know what? I'm a dreamer too. I dream that my friend's kid can get a job, an entry-level job that hasn't been taken from illegal immigrants. I dream that, I don't know, Nancy Pelosi, as she's welcomed people across the border, doesn't get some kind of a huge disease. Well, okay,
but
Rusty,
you know, the reality of this is they can pontificate all day long. John Boehner, Karl Rove, Nancy Pelosi, it doesn't. Any of the elite in Washington D.C. can talk about their humanitarian perspective on amnesty, on the border crisis, whatever. You and I both know that this border crisis is not going to hit their neighborhood. The kids in Nancy Pelosi's great-grandchildren's school are not going to be hit. The kids in John Boehner's neighborhood are not going to be hit. This is about the middle class. And in fact, really, if they had a real humanitarian bone in their body, they'd be concerned about the very poor neighborhoods, especially those full of recent legal immigrants who could be decimated by an outbreak brought across our borders. They're not concerned about that.
No, this is all about power. This is about how much power can I accumulate for myself? How much wealth can I accumulate for myself? Everybody else and the country be damned. That's what's so scary about this. This is one of the first times in history where our politicians aren't caring about what's going to happen in the future or to our posterity. They're only caring about what's about to happen to them. And this is very dangerous.
21 people were shot the night of July 12th in Chicago. 21 people shot overnight. This is Obama's stomping ground. How is he getting away with not caring about this? And what's going to happen to that state as they've watched this senator that they elected rise up to be president and then basically leave them flapping in the wind and talk about how humanitarian he is? Is this computing for people in those populations that are going to be hurt the most?
Obama's not going to get blamed for that, but somebody who should be blamed for that is Obama's best buddy and former chief of staff, Rahm Emanuel, who is in big trouble right now as the mayor of Chicago. Again, Obama continues to get a pass. He will continue to get a pass in those neighborhoods. But as more and more of this crime continues, as the economy doesn't get better, as he's bringing illegal immigrants in to get jobs in the black community, unemployment rates are skyrocketing, especially in the young male categories. At some point, these people have to wake up, like Peggy Joseph, I pray.
One of the places that you've decided to go is to people who have a longer perspective on what's been happening. Icons in our culture have become sort of a special interest to you. The last time we talked, last time I had you on the show, Casey Kasem had just died, and you had interviewed him, and you had shed a little light on how things had changed through his life, through your conversations with him, etc. You've done this now with Pat Boone. It looks like this is becoming another amazing project of the Rusty Humphries empire. Tell us about that.
Well, it's just a series I like to do. I like to interview friends of mine, celebrity friends.
Yeah, we don't all have the same friends, Rusty. Like, you're my friend, and your friends are Pat Boone and Casey Kasem. I just want to make that clear right now.
well, thank you. The Pat Boone interview.
And
one of the
by the
interesting
way,
things,
Michael. Cute Michael.
Michael Damian,
Damian.
your pretend boyfriend.
I literally fell in love with my husband because he looked like Michael Damian at first sight. And he did really look like him back in the day. And still kind of does, actually, if you think about it. You can go ahead, though, and I'll stop talking about my jealousy over your friendships. Go ahead.
No. The Pat Boone interview was kind of fun because I did it in his office, and there was a picture of him when he's about 18 years old or 20 years old. And I pulled the picture up, and I said, Pat, what does today's Pat Boone know that Pat Boone didn't know? Mm-hmm. What would surprise that Pat Boone? And he said,
great question.
The direction of our country, the lack of patriotism, the way that we have gone. Pat Boone of the 1950s could not imagine where this country's gone. And what scares me is, as we're going down this path, what is an 80-year-old Rusty going to look and go, oh my God, I can't believe our country's gone this far. So the Pat Boone interview is interesting. Also, I did one with Tom Wilson recently. Tom was Biff from Back to the Future. And this guy is just a brilliant, not only an actor, a comic, but he also is a political expert. And it's very interesting getting his points of view on today and on what's going on.
So you're going to be doing more of these?
Maybe.
Maybe. You're not going to tell me.
You know what it is? I get bored, and so I'll come up with something different. Who knows what I'll do next? Maybe I'll do a series on hot blonde news anchors. Who knows what'll be next? I don't know, but I'm always looking for something.
No, I do think it's cool. The defining moment for me, and I wrote about it in my new book, What Women Really Want, was the moment that I heard Kitty Werthmann, an Austrian Holocaust survivor, talking about her wanting to know what her mother was doing while their country was falling to Nazi Germany. And that was such a defining moment for me. I thought, What am I going to look back and say, why wasn't I doing X? And hopefully, you can't do everything as parents and as those who are trying to leave a legacy to the next generation, but we can certainly learn from iconic folks like you have interviewed. And you have
Dr. Gina, I don't mean to interrupt, but
No
I'm kind of surprised that was one of your defining. I mean, it's a great defining moment. I thought it was the moment you and I met would be your big defining moment, but that's that's
well,
me. Whatever.
that was next.
Oh,
You
okay.
and I met
That
after
got cut out by the editors. Okay, I get it.
Rusty, it is always a pleasure. I love hearing about your projects. You always have like a million things going on at once. I don't know when you sleep, but it's always good to have you on the show back with us here on Smart Life. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Dr. Gina. Talk to you later.
Don't forget, we love hearing from you too. You can go to the Smart Life page, moneybizlife.com, click Ask Dr. Gina, and send us an email, or you can contact me. Facebook, Twitter, you can find me all over the place. I'm an actual Pinterest addict. I can't believe this has happened to me. Like I needed another social media.